where we already kind of marked up, just because I think we did a lot of offense on that.
Sure.
Let's kind of pick up here and let it roll and just kind of let it go here. So you were on offense.
I'm just going to grab my charger done. I'll be right back.
Let it roll and just kind of, since it's a lot of other guys anyway, we can talk about what both teams are kind of doing wrong defensively.
Yeah. Grab my charger.
Okay, Tucker, one of the things, I don't know if you were on the last film session, right? But as a goalie, in this clear, we want to try and get the ball out of the middle as often as we can. All right. What happens is you kind of end up pushing the field here, and it makes it really ambiguous as to which guy should stretch. So if I'm looking right now, it looks like we've got an attackman here, right? We got an attackman here. This guy over here as well. And we got a guy right here who looks like he could be either a midi or an attack. I don't know if we stretch the side. If it's the same side of the stripe ride, okay, like what we were talking about. So that was the attackman on the far side. See how this guy's now coming across to come get you?
Yeah.
So that should have been – we should have gotten the ball to that side and stretched it right away.
Okay.
And now you're trying to make that deep pass. So we go offside. So a couple things – and we could go over this more. Like, this is good for just to know. All right? So when we play this, what we want to try and do is get that ball to the outside, stretch it. We should have gotten out if we get it to the right side here. All right, we should have stretched. If not, what we can do is we can run the line and make that guy come with us on sides. All right, and this guy should be coming back to the ball, that deep guy. All right, we call it return at Farmingdale. I may go over a whole little bit of that on a whiteboard one day. But now we're just all kind of doing the summer league thing, and you should have hit BC there also.
Yeah.
And it looks like you guys were back on sides anyway, which is why Corey's not real happy, which I don't blame him. This up here.
Damn zebras.
There we go. Come on. That's so annoying. Oh, let's stay up there this time. So again, here we go. Ball should already be out of the middle. Like, get that ball out of the middle, because now you're trying to make a 40-yard pass on a dime, and you make a great pass. But we want that pass to be kind of more straight up the field.
Okay.
Coach DeQuino having a shit fit over here about his attack not riding. Okay, so this is one of those things. I've talked about it on previous films. I'll talk about it now with these guys. All right? They've played some defense, not a ton. Okay, but we're subbing. This should be a situation. If we've got a pull on this short stick, this next guy adjacent should be pressing out, and we should have that free slide. Like, don't just let guys throw the ball around the horn. And especially in a summer setting, nobody's very impressed by you just sitting back and not playing. Terrible approach. Okay, so let's go back. So a couple things. Right? That defenseman, okay, you notice he doesn't play that guy's hands. One of the things that we got to talk about defensively is when we slide, okay, and that ball gets moved one pass, if it's moved forward in particular, right, where you're not in the slide help, you need to play the hell out of that guy's hands. Why is that so important? Anybody? Why is it so important that you play the next pass really hard? Yikes. Okay. So why is it so important? We're recovering behind that pass, right? So that's really when the defense is at its most vulnerable. So we want to be all over that adjacent pass so that that feeder doesn't have time to find that open guy. All right. Same thing like I talk to you guys a lot when we're doing like 3-on-2s and 4-on-3s. When we're playing defense man down, you have to make a decision. Are you hedging and keeping tight to your guy, right, and really covering up down low? But if you make a commitment that you're going to go to the ball hard, you've got to get there and get pressure on that guy's hands so that he doesn't have the freedom. Like, we don't want to come out like, you know how I get really angry when we come out and we just kind of wave our sticks at guys? Because what that happens is that you're not really forcing that guy to make a decision quickly. You're kind of passively allowing him to look over the defense, and now he's able to find whoever he wants. Fuck. Great job by the defense going two to the ball right there. Terrible idea having the shorty punt return it out, though. Like, this should never happen against the way that we ride. And that short stick should have just stayed on that guy, and we would have been out. 3 attackmen should be able to stop 1 short stick. Okay, so we talked about this the last time. When we slide, guys, this is a perfect example of why you don't bring your stick in front, right? This guy's actually in a really good position to help. He probably should have even gotten maybe a little bit lower, but watch his angle. If he closes with just his stick and then his hands, he stops this guy. But because he tries to, like, V-hold him, they end up getting a goal, right? That's one where you have to just don't worry about getting to his hands as a shooter. You've got to put your hands on his waist and drive him to the outside and decrease his angle. I think he got a little unlucky there, Ward, too. That's not usually when we give up.
Mm-hmm.
How's the film on your end right now, Core? Is it choppy again? Kind of. I can't hear you, Corey. You might be muted.
It's a little choppy, but you can see what's going on.
All right, so we're gonna have a man down here. Oh, killing time. Okay, we talked about this last week with Ferrara too. All right, I'm gonna rewind it 5 seconds. You short sticks, do not decide you need to take the ball away because the flag is down. Just play good defense, okay? In Summer League, what's the average score, right? 7-5. If you score 10 goals in a Summer League game, you absolutely murdered the team, okay? Most of our games are like 6-4, 5-3. So right there, you're creating offense because you're worried about the flag being down. But listen, being down 1 goal in a Summer League game is not bad. If all of a sudden we go down 2 because you panicked and you felt like you needed to take the ball away, like this, like the guy who continuously is throwing rap checks and stuff like that, you're now if you go down 2 and there's a flag down, now you're really in a hole. Because remember, that flag's not going to go away. It's a slash. So just be patient. Make them play offense. Go out and pressure them, but stay true to your rules, right? Play that guy's hips. You can go out and play him a little bit, but don't go taking, one-handed checks trying to take the ball away. I mean, at some point, they've got to try and make these guys shoot the ball. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we got a little 1-3-2. I'm not sure why we retreated so hard. Probably because we just realized we were man down. Okay, but here, bad job by the defense, and maybe it's going to be halftime. Identify right away. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be halftime. Okay. I was going to say, get reset. Identify the formation immediately and identify who's ball, who's left, who's right. When that ball goes out of bounds, especially man down, it's so important that we communicate. So we got a 1-3-2 to start, and I believe they're going to cut to a 1-4-1 if I remember from the film the last time we watched. Okay, so right now Ramos has ball. This guy's got left. He's got right. And this is our splitter in the backside. Good. So we stay tight. We're getting over. We got good rotation right now. I talked about Lembo last time. We went past this a little bit last time. We watched more than we thought, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Lembo's got to get it. When we return on that man down, we want to return ball side. He got a little lazy. Okay, so now, again, Farmingdale guy making 2 mistakes. I remember this the other day. Okay, so here we are again, right? He doesn't go pressure this guy behind. Okay, this short stick. So we got a whole bunch of stuff here. I don't know if you guys were on the film session the other day. I don't want to beat a dead horse. But if you look at this, right, so they're going to get into their cut. So we don't play the ball behind, which is a mistake. Okay, ball gets thrown up top. Okay, they're going to cut into a 1-4-1. Okay, so a spare takes this cutter front side, which is fine. But then he should have snapped back to go get this guy right here. Sorry. And either way, what should have happened does not happen. So spare, we should have gotten a cutter call from Ramos here. Spare should have jumped off and gotten this guy inside. He should have had this guy right here, our splitter. Lembo should have went behind to play this guy. And I'm not sure what Lembo is doing as far as not communicating. But here they're kind of not sure, and that's just too easy a goal to give up on man down. That's why we go and play guys behind. Even if you don't play guys behind, you still have to make sure that you're meeting them at the goal. again, so the reason I'm going to just stop here for a second and talk about why I, in particular, the two philosophies, right? One is you don't play the ball behind because you're sending a guy behind the goal and your numbers are worse up top, right? That's definitely a good theory. You can always meet that guy at goal line, and a lot of people play defense that way. The only reason why I like playing the guy behind is because he's also more than likely the best guy to feed anybody that's in a position to score off of a cut. So by playing that guy's hands a little bit and not letting him have the free reign of looking wherever he wants, I feel like that, especially in high school. Maybe in college it's not as important, but in high school that allows us to prevent that guy from really getting to be able to have a good look.
You could also, by not playing him behind, you're giving him an opportunity to attack either side of the goal.
Yeah,
Right? Like that kid was able to just get to his right hand, which he's more comfortable with, just because we didn't play him.
just having your hands free. I'm not a huge fan of letting guys have their hands free. You know, I'm definitely from the philosophy of don't create offense by going out and playing the shit out of guys and getting crazy with it. But I also think that you have to play defense, kind of like I think our whole philosophy is at FLG, like smart aggressive, right? Understand when you have opportunities to go play in that guy's hands and disrupt the feeder, but do it by playing in a conservative manner, by staying in his hands, by not going over the head, by not throwing, a million stick checks, trying to time up the checks that are going to work. Okay, so yeah, again, I think we talked about this last time. So this is a great opportunity. So we're in adjacent here, and we talked about this a little bit when we went with the FLG and 3D film. Okay, Nolan has to be hot here, all right? So he's got to be hot. The ball is up top. This defenseman actually needs to be up just a little bit at the top edge of the crease. And our backside, if you look, the ball crossed this side of the field. We have 1-2 guys in the picture. We're even missing a third guy. This is technically our offside midi. If he gets into the hub here, and this guy's helped in on the backside here, right? They're able to cover this crease guy, but no one can't be sealed by this guy. It allows him, because he's actually hot, he should have been able to hedge out to that and prevent the shot. I mean, it's not a great shot because the guy's, going away from the cage, but you can't be on the inside of your attackman as that guy starts to go down the net. I think we went over this one too. Stick out. He's going to throw 2 slap checks. 1, 2. Okay, terrible job on the big little here. Okay, again, this goes back to what you guys were talking about, Corey, playing off or not with the big little.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I don't love playing off, right? Because this guy doesn't really communicate. When guys play off, they tend to feel like they're not in the place. They just kind of keep their mouths shut. And here's the defenseman engaging his attackman too far behind the goal because he threw 2 slap checks. And now they get a great pickoff on this guy, and he's driving high side. And they get a great backside look. Woo! Okay, and it looks like if we go back to the off ball, okay, this guy right here who's face guarding his man, he should have been the hot guy. Okay, I want to try and get it right to that spot. So pause. Okay, so I mean, it looks like Lembo maybe called that he was hot, right? Just from the body language, as to see how this guy's head is kind of facing the ball, and this guy right here should never be face guarding his guy. But if you're the second slide, you need to position yourself between these 2 guys anyway, okay? And one of these middies, like this guy right here, he is way too high, okay? And he's staring at the ball, okay? So really where he's going to need to do is he's going to need to pick up the high cutter here, which will be 32. And this guy should have picked up the backside cutter, which will be 17. But instead we all kind of stare at the ball, right? And there's just no communication. A great save to bail us out. But Nolan's got his back to the ball there. He's not really looking. Nolan's staying on the field again. We talked about this. Poles throwing the ball to Poles in the middle of the field is very dangerous. I feel like we got through this whole game because I've seen most of this. But we got to upload some new games. Yo, U23's got to send us some film, man. You guys are going to watch everybody else play, and you're not going to get to see yourselves play.
I have the 23. I have all their big X games that weren't like playoff games. So
I
I
can't
can
wait
load.
to hear in a little bit. Give them the business. Okay, so nice job defensively there, closing out. Again, we're getting hung, so they're open. Lembo's actually in the right position here. I think we talk about the hung situation last time? I think we did. Okay, so I'll talk about it briefly because I'm not sure that everybody else was here on the last one. We get hung, okay? It depends on situation in the game, goals, all right? But right now, if we're even or up, there's no reason Lembo should go behind the goal, especially when, like, being hung as you get older isn't even really necessarily an advantage because of the stall call that can get put on you and also the shot clock in college. I mean, getting hung now. That's why you see some college guys aren't even going back there at times. There's sometimes when I'm watching the college games, especially in zone, guys don't even play the ball behind because they've got the clock in their favor. All right, but let's lock up no matter what's happening. We should all be locking on to our men except for the goalie and the defenseman. If we have to go, the goalie goes out to his stick side first, okay, to try and bait that guy to attack, and maybe we can get the defenseman over there too. But he stands with a foot like just outside the goal, just outside the crease, sorry, like maybe like a half step. And he's going to try and get that stick in his outside hand and ride that guy back to X, almost like a defenseman. Got to meet him below goal line. And then the defenseman will go this side if we have to chase him all the way around. That's in that emergency situation. But we don't want to give this guy the ability to move the ball adjacent so easily where now all of a sudden he can hit cutters. And see, because Cole never comes out, see, if Cole comes out before Lembo goes, guy doesn't make the goal anyway because it's not that easy. But if he can come and meet him over in this area right here, it gives Lembo that half second to catch up, which he might have done. He almost catches him anyway.
Yeah, it also changes the angle of the dodger. So instead of like hugging the crease, he has to like fan out towards the sideline.
Exactly. Don't be in such a panic to get back to your matchups. Make sure everybody's got a man first. Right, guys? So that's a really good thing off of Scramble 2 to understand. Like even when you get to the high school level, and we talk about this a lot at Farmingdale, and we do a lot of drills, switching from man to zone. When you get in, when a ball is picked up off the ground, find the nearest man. And don't be in such a panic to get back to your matchup. Because usually offense is going to attack right away, and we need to defend that first. Once they get into the pattern of spinning the ball, then you can slowly get yourself back to matchups as you move away from the ball. When that pass is now 2 passes away, maybe you can get yourself to the crease, then you can exit out the other side, okay? So when the ball's picked up off the ground right away, yeah, mark up the guys that are closest to you first. You can always figure out the rest of it afterwards. Don't get caught in a switch like those two guys almost did. Bad approach, not getting our hands on guys. Slid way too early. We're playing way too passive on the ball here. Look at that. Guy's getting shots off without anybody even touching him, okay? This is way too much space. Okay, backpedaling again. He's not to the high side. See how his left foot's back there? Not a bad shot from that guy, but look at how far we're coming to slide, okay? I think I talked about this last time we did it too, okay? When the ball is here, we should have a hot left and hot right. They got two guys inside. This guy should be the low guy being hot because he's got the better angle, but he's got to sit over on the dodge side edge of the crease so that he's in a good angle to go to this guy. And again, he's not getting up to full speed. We should never be sliding at full speed to guys. And don't duck. That's how you get redodged. Great hit. Use your feet in the scrum, D guys. Got to come up with that ground ball. Oh, boy. Get over, get over, get over. It's got to be panic attack now. Great defense, keeping that guy down the alley. Oh, great redodge. So the one thing, we do a good job here of getting this guy to go down the alley, but then we got to sit on that back shoulder. And as a defenseman, see, like these two guys right here, they're creeping like they're going to be hot. When you see that guy starting to roll back middle, that's a great time. It's almost like an inside roll. You know what I mean? So like this guy right here, who I think he's going to be hot, that's not a bad time. You see this guy kind of trying to get around to go jump that guy doubling, all right, almost like an inside roll and hammer his hands to prevent that shot from happening. I will also talk about the goalie anticipating. Okay, watch, I know Cole's not on here and it's Ward, but because this guy's lefty, watch his body language. See how he's squatting down and he never steps to the ball?
Yeah.
He's assuming a low shot there, and he's getting his base so low. Sometimes what happens when guys load up for the shot, I've noticed this with other goalies, they get so loaded by kind of getting ready for the shot that they can't step. So stay light on our feet and don't guess. He's on a knee on a shot that goes high to high.
Dunne, can you go back for 1 second again, right before that guy rolls back? So just freeze right here. I talked about this with the offensive guys yesterday, just with our spacing and our off-ball play. So like as the hot guy, who's that low defenseman, this guy here, if you can just circle Dunne, just put him as if he was closer to where the ball is, like draw a circle where maybe he should be standing as opposed to where he is standing.
Up in here, ready to fire this.
Exactly. So if you're in a better position, guys, before he even rolls back, right, you have a better chance to read that dodge and get to where you need to get to. But when you're so far away, what happens is the first thing, which Dunne mentioned earlier, you end up getting up to potentially top speed where you're kind of out of control and you can't control your body. And then secondly, if you have to get somewhere last minute because a kid maybe makes a great move or a redodge or a bounce and whatever it is, like as you start to play against craftier attackmen and midfielders who know how to not just dodge hard and split dodge and get to their spots, but when they redodge, you got to be in that really, really ideal spot to slide. So that off-ball spacing's huge. Position, really, I guess you'd say.
And again, it's all anticipation, just like what we were talking about on with the offensive guys yesterday. It's just about never relaxing. I mean, if I want to rewind back, this guy right here, first of all, leaving your feet is like one of the worst things you can ever do defensively. I think that's Nick Turn. But watch his hustle getting back in on this play. Still not in the picture. Still not in the picture. He should be running in, bumping these guys over because this was an emergency, right? That's that pick up off the ground ball and that redodge right away. We all need to flow to the ball side to be in a position to help because obviously that's where goals are scored, right? And it's a nice job by those guys.
That's why Nick Turn's going to attack.
Yeah.
Well, for Massapequa.
You don't leave your feet. I still can't talk about high school lacrosse. I'm still bothered by it. Driving me insane. I can't believe we lost this season.
Yeah.
How much time we got left, Core?
We started 9:30. We probably have like 12 minutes.
I definitely want to do a college game soon with these guys.
Yeah, we could do that next week if you want. You want to pick like who are some defensive teams that you kind of like model? I would say like Yale, probably Notre Dame.
Yale, Notre Dame.
You want to do a Yale? We could do Yale against like a good like non-league matchup, like Penn State or something like that. I think they beat Penn State this year. That was a good win.
Yeah. My guess is though they beat Penn State because the guy at the faceoff X more than their defense. All right, guys. First of all, this is a really dangerous place if you don't communicate that you're going to jump it. I don't mind the jump, but notice how he doesn't tell him that he's going to jump. So then we don't get the backside seal. Like this is not a bad place to jump it. He's by the end line. This is actually a great place to jump, but he doesn't communicate it. And so there's no double team. And then he throws 2 back wraps in a row, and now he's out of position. Throwing 2 back wraps, unless you got a pure carrier, is very, very dangerous. This guy, he's got to – what's his name again? Gillespie? He got to get up in closed space. Can't play off the ball so much. Ooh, the phantom check gets him. Not sure why we're punt returning the ball out here. That's not our clear. It's not what we do because that's not how we clear the ball. Got to follow the plan, boys. The more organized team will have an easier job of clearing the ball. We don't get the 50-50. Oh, that's a push from behind. We should get the ball back on that. What? They don't call on that?
Drum and DeQuino were friends with the ref.
Nice, because that was about as bad gets. Okay, so I'm going to criticize Ramos here a little bit. I don't mind. I'll give him a credit in the fact that he's in a bit of a tough spot. But he does this a lot where he tends to reach down to try and can opener rather than lifting the guy's hands. And it's just not as an effective way of disrupting the shot, okay? If you can get under that guy's elbow and lift, you're going to be more successful in disrupting his hand.
Dunne, you should talk about the skewer concept.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even really a skewer situation because the guy gets into the head of his stick because he's all alone. But a skewer, like J.O. was doing this thing, the guy, Dunne, who's the assistant coach at Manhattan, was talking about a term that he uses, skewer. So you guys know that, especially when we're playing transition defense or we're coming out to a shooter, coming out to even a feeder, I tell you guys never come out with your stick trying to match the head of the feeder's stick. And I love the term that they use for that, skewer. So he talks about the idea that you want to, thrust your stick, the head of your stick, right into the guy's hands, right? And we always talk about the percentage play, right? I talked to you guys about knocking a pass down from 2 feet away is like a 10% play, whereas disrupting a guy's hands, sliding to his gloves is like a 90% play. So I'm a big percentages, guys. That's why I always tell you to play a guy's hands, right? Flicking those sticks in the lane, okay, I'm man down every now and then. I think that's how you get stick faked a lot. You can be on somebody's highlight film. Whereas if you stay in a guy's hands, you're not going to get stick faked. But again, and skewer in this situation is going to be tough because of where he is on the field, and the guy is kind of he's not time and room shooting. He's trying to dodge him. So I just think here he's better off with a lift, or if he can opener, if he can get his backhand up and his top hand down to really pin that bottom hand. But notice it's still, and Ramos is a pretty strong kid. I can still get that shot off. But it also starts off with us not doing what we're supposed to do on the clear. Unforced turnover. We throw the ball to the middle of the field after trying to run it out, one-handed ground ball. We're just doing a lot of fundamentally wrong stuff on this film. I know the 22s would never do this stuff.
That's debatable.
If they did, you'd be seeing them run directly to the box, that's for sure.
Running to the far scoreboard and back.
Yeah. Be touching the stands back there. All right, let's move forward through this. Hey, we got a goal here, so let's do what they did wrong.
This is a nice little shallow cut.
Oh, real nice shallow cut.
Catch,
and
bang.
What that guy hedging to? That's a terrible hedge.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, that's just, again, creating offense. That's staring at the ball, getting locked in the ball, great shallow cut. You got to go with your man a little bit more if you're going to hedge off and think about sliding. He's the adjacent guy. The guy's going to the middle, so he's not even hot to that side. Don't love that.
You got 8 minutes done.
Cool. I think we'll get through the rest of this film, I think. Very passive. Oh, dodge to the sideline. Don't fade. Stagnant. Again, no reason to switch there. You know what I want to do over film, Corey? We got to teach these guys the monster defense for inverts.
Yes.
It'd be good to teach them through film.
That's I think you might need to pull up some Farmdale film for that because I
will. Yeah.
I don't think the last time we taught that, I think like in depth with an FLG team was the 2018 guys.
Yeah.
They were pretty good at it.
Hang on, say my Mac is going to close here. So I just want to make sure I close it. So this is, again, we're laying off of this big little, which I don't love. Okay, this guy doesn't even think about doubling. That short stick could have even possibly doubled right there. That guy's back to the ball. Chuck, we left the guy open in the middle of the field. Yuck. Now's the time to throw takeaways, right there. When you got that guy running to the sideline, that is your green areas along stick midi. Back to fronts, throw your kayak, get him to roll back because you have other guys that are getting in. That midfield line to top of the box, if you're an LSM, you should be licking your chops to throw something. And again, I think we're down now, and they're going to start killing clock, and we're just like letting them sub. We're not playing the ball very hard. We'll spare, not even thinking about really getting in. Yeah, Corey, I think what we'll do is I'll go over monster on the board, and then we'll attach some clips to it.
Cool.
That's a moving pick. So again, look at this. This is just lazy, man. This is lazy, and it's like why I don't like playing picks like this. So Bruno is just laying off of this guy. I guess he's telling him the pick is there because he's trying to see it. So it's a moving pick. But Benny's not really in a position to help if this guy does get picked. It's a nice job of the pole getting around it. But if we take away the one side of that guy's ability to dodge, it's just going to help us out that much more. I'm going to debate Jo on that laying off guy's theory. Great job on ball right there. Closes with his hands, gets back out with his stick. Okay, so twice here, guys. Again, this has already been a teaching point, but watch what happens when we reach across, okay? So the first guy here, spare. Look at his hands. He throws a slap check. Guy runs right through his top hand. Now we got a slide. The slide guy is going to reach his stick across the front of the guy's. He's going to run you like a turnstile. You can't slide with your stick across the front side of the guy's body. You can slide with your stick out, but then it needs to come up so you can forearm shiver the guy and get your hands on him. Throwing it to the crease, panic mode. We're just squashing people's dodges here. Still got a good look. Oh, English gets it in. So let's talk about their communication on defense.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy doesn't play the ball because he's afraid about getting picked off, right? There's nobody getting ready to be hot, okay? I guess maybe they're coming adjacent. But that D guy just stays tight to his man. He doesn't get his stick across. And notice how he's trying to pry that bottom hand down, and that's a great job of Chernoff. Again, coming down on a guy's hand, you don't have as much leverage. He's able to take that bottom hand off and shoot it. Whereas if you're at least lifting his bottom arm, you're going to tilt his body back. It's going to be harder for him to swing that stick across. Love that move. Great goal. They're doing a pretty good job of staying sticky there. Good closeout by that D guy. Oh, terrible. Again, playing off of these big little picks. Look at it. He just gets a little piece, full head of steam. Yuck. It's a good slide, just a little too late. Oh, boy. What is this? Okay, so we don't get in the hole, it looks like, because this guy runs off. Bad idea.
Yep.
Tommy Decker gets beat in the hole, starts jogging at the top of the box. But where are we coming off of? Okay, so this goes back to kind of what we were talking about yesterday, right, Cor? About like getting tight. And this defenseman, when you look at where he's stopping this ball on the break, this guy just entered the top of the box. He needs to stay here and stay tight. Let the offense come to you. And now this pole is deciding that he's going to sprint up. No, sorry, this guy is going to come and get this point guy. And it's a great job by the midi just dumping it in behind him. Like, and if you look, the defenseman should have just waited for Ramos to get in. Ramos was going to get there. If he gave that guy a little hedge and a little fake, Ramos probably gets there on the trail check. And instead, we just give up a layup.
Yeah,
right?
we should be in red anyway. I mean,
in red, yeah.
Yeah, the default.
Off the bottom.
Yeah, and that's something too, Ward. Like you can communicate. I know you're not net here, but like communicate to our defense, like every time. Like you want to be in red, unless they've spread us out so much to the point where we have to rotate. Like let's hold on those low guys. You have less than a minute, Dunne.
Cool. Any questions for us guys before we kind of wrap this up? What would you guys like to see going forward? Good talk.
You guys want to see college? You like watching yourselves? Like, what do you think? What do you think you guys feel like? What scares you out there? Like, what do you think you need work on that, like, you're uncertain about?
Stubby wanted to see the Colorado game. We did it for the offense. We could do that for the defense.
Yeah, we could do that.
Watch the Colorado game.
Yes, seeing some college games would be pretty good, probably.
Yeah, we could go over the college stuff. I thought that was like I'd like to see even college or high school where you can see zone and stuff like that, because that's some of the stuff you guys can learn cerebrally while we're kind of still doing, something that has a little bit more organization. Like this is all well and good, but a lot of this, I mean, there's just some crazy stuff that we're doing out here.